Hey guys, so welcome back. I know the lighting is not great, so just kind of bear with me with this video. I'm downstairs and I didn't bring my ring light or anything. Happy 31 Days of Halloween. 31 Days of Halloween is where I upload every single day. So it's filled with spooky stories, investigations, games, and it's also filled with a mystery box giveaway. So how you enter is you like this video, you hit the subscribe button, and you comment down below what you are going to be for Halloween. If you're being anything, if you're not, that's totally cool too. You can just say you're not being anything, and that's fine. With that being said, let's dive in to our topic for today. This game, it pushes my boundaries. Like, I probably wouldn't play this game. I feel like it's really stupid to play this game. But even so, I have kids. And this game needs, like, it's played in your house and stuff. And I would never do anything to put my children in danger. And this game definitely would. But I'm still going to talk about it and tell you guys how to play it. So, don't recommend playing it. Anyways, first I'll tell you how to play it. Then I will tell you encounters of what happened when people played it. They're not good. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce the name of this game. It's Hitori Kakarenbo, but I'm going to refer to it as its English translation, which is One Man Hide and Seek. So usually people will play this alone. I mean, there are accounts of people playing it together. I don't know if you're actually supposed to play it with more than one person, considering its name literally translates to One Man Hide and Seek. Regardless, so you need a human, one stuffed doll with limbs, one sack of uncooked rice. You're going to want enough to fill that doll. A pair of nail clippers, a needle, a length of red thread, one sharp edge such as a knife or a pair of scissors, a bathroom with a bathtub, a cup of salt water, a hiding place, a television, and incense. So, the instructions. 1. Using your sharp edge, cut open the doll and remove all of the stuffing. 2. Replace the stuffing with dry, uncooked rice. Clip off a piece of your fingernail. Other versions do say hair. I think it's just a piece of you. Like, obviously don't hurt yourself. And place it inside the doll with the rice. 3. Using the needle and red thread, stitch the doll closed. Without snipping the thread, take the remaining length, wrap it around the doll, and tie off the ends. So you sew it up, and then whatever is left on the spindle, you just wrap it around the doll and tie it. 4. Fill the bathtub with water. 5. Purify the room in which your hiding place is located with the incense. Once it has been purified, set up the television in the same room. So the same room you're hiding. Place the cup of salt water and the sharp edge inside the hiding place. 6. Name the doll. So let's play the game. 1. Begin precisely at 3 a.m. Repeat the following phrase to the doll 3 times, filling in your own name where appropriate. So, for the sake of, explaining this, let's do Katrina. You would be able to pick whatever name you want. Still not recommending playing this, but just letting you know. For the first part, you'd fill in your own name where appropriate. So Brittany is the first it. 2. Go to the bathroom, submerge the doll in the bathtub, and leave it there. 3. Turn off all the lights in the house. 4. Go to your hiding place and switch on the television. Close your eyes and count to 10. 5. When you have finished counting, open your eyes. 6. Remove the doll from the bathtub and say the following phrase to it, filling in the doll's name where appropriate. I have found you, Katrina. Use your sharp edge to cut the red thread that is binding the doll. 7. Say the following phrase to the doll, filling in the doll's name where appropriate. You are the next it, Katrina. Then return the doll to the bathtub. Quickly return to your hiding place. Remain as silent as possible. The ending. 1. Take a large mouthful of salt water. Do not swallow it. Hold it in your mouth. Keep the cup containing the rest of the salt in your hand. 2. Emerge from your hiding place and begin looking for the doll. Note, the doll may not be in the bathtub where you had left it. 3. When you find the doll, pour the remaining salt in the cup over it and spit out all of the salt water in your mouth over the doll as well. 4. Repeat the following phrase 3 times to the doll. I win. So you go, I win, I win, I win. So once the game is done, allow the doll to dry and then burn it and discard the remains. The rice represents the doll's internal organs, and it also serves as a bait to attract spirits. So essentially, it says spirits, but this thing wants to hurt you. So it's probably like demonic. You're essentially probably summoning a demon. The red thread represents a blood vessel, and it seals whatever spirit you might have attracted inside that doll. So you snip the thread, and that releases the spirit and allows it to kind of like move and whatnot. So when you name the doll, you do not want to give it your name. So I would not name the doll Brittany because it's my name. Also advisable to avoid giving the doll the name of anybody that you know. I don't know if that really, like, if that gives it more power, like it attaches more to you or whoever you know. Once the game begins, it says, do not do any of the following things until it has been completed. Do not turn off the lights. Do not lock any doors, including the front or back doors. Do not make unnecessary noise. And do not leave your house. It's also advisable to not get up from your hiding place until the end, which would be when you are, the time is up. So you have the salt water in your mouth and you have the salt water in the cup, and now you're going and looking for the doll because the doll hasn't found you. It says that should anything have found its way into your home during the course of the game, they will act as safeguards and protect you from any harm your visitor or visitors may attempt to inflict upon you, which is the purpose of the television. So the television is to alert you to the presence of these potential visitors. Should it begin to display any abnormal behavior, do not under any circumstances get out of your hiding place without the salt water. It also says to not let the game go longer than 2 hours, or the spirit may become too powerful to stop. Once it has started, the game has to be played through completion. Do not abandon it halfway through. To do so would result in disaster. So now that you know how to play the game, let's talk about people who have played the game. Also, I want to note that if anybody is in the house while you're playing the game, you are putting them in danger. So this is the first one. Since I was 12, I tried to make it a tradition to get frightened on Halloween. There have been occasions where my friends and I explored an abandoned hospital or even a supposed haunted hotel. This year, though, was rather dull. It's been several years since I've been a university student, so my Halloweens are consisting now of mature parties where most were more eager to network than actually enjoying Halloween. The day after Halloween, I decided to give myself a proper scare. I decided to play a game that I read about. It's called the One-Man Hide and Seek. I went through some Reddit threads and didn't see anyone actually attempting the game. After work, I bought a used doll from a nearby Goodwill and started preparing for the ritual. putting an incision. So it isn't a legitimate ritual. There's a lot of paranormal games on here, like, that you can find that don't include a piece of you. This literally includes you giving this, like that. It's dark. It's not. This game is one of the darkest ones that I've seen. Anyways, putting an incision into the side of the doll, I removed all the stuffing and replaced it with rice and some of my fingernail clippings. I sewed the area shut with a red thread. I filled the bathtub with water and chose my closet as my hiding place. At the base of my closet, I placed a full cup of salt water. I was nervous, but this was from creepypasta, so I didn't actually expect anything to happen. The ritual states that you're not supposed to use anything electronic, but I wanted to document the event, so I bought a disposable camera. I waited until 3 a.m. to officially start, and I gave the doll the name of Ashley. I am Robert, and I will be the first it. I am Robert, and I will be the first it. I am Robert, and I will be the first it. I don't know what it is about these chants and why you have to say them 3 times, but I did what the instructions directed. Placing Ashley in the the water-filled tub, I took a photo. A flash went off. I then proceeded to turn off all the lights in the apartment. I also turned on the television as the instructions, but nothing ever happened to the television. When I walked back to my hiding place, my heart started to race faster, but I ignored it. The adrenaline was the reason I was doing this. I got in my closet, closing it behind me. 1, 2, 3. I counted until I reached 10. Walking back to the bathroom, I could see Ashley was still submerged in the bathwater. I found you, Ashley, I exclaimed, and then stabbed the doll with a pair of scissors 3 times. You are the next it, Ashley. Following the instructions, I left the still soaking doll on the bathroom counter and walked back to my closet, but not before taking another photo. At this point, the doll is supposed to be possessed and will move on its own, and I was supposed to find it. My stabbing the doll was intended to anger it. I closed the closet door and poured half the salt water in my mouth, but didn't swallow. The salt water was supposed to protect me. The instructions do not say to count to 10, but I did in my head anyways before I emerged from the closet. I took what was left of the salt water with me, and I went to look for her. It didn't take long to find Ashley. The doll was still sitting on the counter of the bathroom. I let out a sigh. Nothing happened. Another photo was taken before I ended the experiment. I poured the rest of the water on Ashley and spat out the salt water on her as well. I win, I win, I win. I was disappointed that nothing happened, but was still determined to close the experiment. I left the doll over a small space heater to dry it. I am supposed to let the doll dry completely before burning it later. I took a few more pictures before cleaning up the saltwater spill and draining the bathtub. It was 4 a.m. before I finally headed to bed. Before work the next day, I dropped off the photos to be developed. I picked up the photos when I headed home. I got home, threw my keys on the counter, I lifted out the space heater, and Ashley was still there. I sat down and started going through the photos. Most of the photos did not come out. However, a few did. My mouth dropped, and my gaze slowly went from the photos to Ashley. In the photos that were clear, it showed me taking pictures of Ashley. Someone had taken photos of me during my ritual. I slowly stood up, my eyes darting through my apartment. Some of the photos could only have been taken if someone was in the apartment with me. Rushing over to Ashley, I took her and ran down the apartment stairs until I got to the rear parking. I tried to burn the doll, but it didn't catch. It took several minutes of attempts before finally burning it. I lowered the doll to the ground as the flame got larger. At this point, I noticed my own profuse sweating. I remember I felt very warm and quite uncomfortable. It only subsided when the doll stopped burning. I stared at the charred remains of Ashley, still clutching the photos. I started taking my lighter to the photos when it dawned to me. The person who took those photos was playing hide and seek with me, and I was their doll. Which is terrifying. I'm assuming that they bought multiple cameras. If there's a picture of them taking a picture, I probably wouldn't sleep after that. I feel like that's a good way to get some paranoia. You gotta scare. Anyways, This is the next one. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm an American who's been living in Japan with a host family for a study abroad. Last Sunday, my host sister, Kane, told me about a game she wanted to play called Totori Kakurenbo, or Hide and Seek Alone. Anyways, Kane said it was fun and some girls in her school tried it. And it was an actual way to play hide and seek with ghosts. But she didn't want to do it alone. For someone who's a skeptic, it seemed pretty harmless, so I was curious. Of course, I regret this now. No matter how skeptical or curious you may be, do not play this game. In any case, Kane got a doll from the 100 yen store, naming it Arena. And I watched her tear out the stuffing and replace it with rice. Now I need 2 drops of blood, one from me and one from you, she muttered. Which makes it even darker. Like you're using blood to try to activate this thing. Anyways. She pricked her finger and I pricked mine and we rubbed the blood into the rice. She then sewed it up with the red thread, continuing to bind the doll with the red thread. Why are you doing that? I asked, confused. The red is supposed to represent blood vessels. We'll sever them tonight at 3. The afternoon at 3 or the afternoon 3 or the morning 3? Morning, you idiot, she smirked at me. She also made up the cups of salt water and made salt lines around her parents' room. What's that for? I asked curiously. Apparently, it stops the spirit from going into the room to find you. So are we going to hide in there? Nah, that wouldn't be any fun, would it be? I just didn't want their room to get destroyed. Destroyed? In retrospect, I wish we'd stayed in there, even if it had been no fun. Or even better, I wish I'd never done this without knowing fully what could happen. Anyway, we went into the bathroom at 3 a.m. The rest of the family was out visiting the aunt and uncle, who'd recently had a new baby. We put the doll in the bathtub with water and shouted together, "A Kane and Sarah are the first it, a Kane and Sarah are the first it, a Kane and Sarah are the first it." And then we ran out of the bathroom, turning out all the lights and switching on the TV in our hiding room to a static channel. Kane grabbed a knife and left the salt water on the table. We went back into the bathroom, and sure enough, the doll was there, in the bathtub, smiling serenely up at us from the bottom. "Irene, Kane and Sarah found you," we yelled, and yanked it out. Kane stabbed the heart and made sure to sever a lot of the red thread before dumping it back into the bathtub. "Arena is the second it, Arena is the second it, Arena is the second it," we chanted. Then ran back to the family room with the TV going. We each took a gulp of salt water, making sure not to swallow it. Then held our cups firmly before settling in the closet. Kane left open a crack of the door before she wanted to watch what would happen to the TV. It was a terrible, terrible idea. To this day, I wish we'd left the door closed. For the first 5 minutes, we were just waiting. Nothing was happening, and I felt relieved. Then I heard the static of the TV begin to change. Without any of us touching the remote, the TV began to switch channels. Fast enough that sentences began to form from the words of different channels. "I will find you." I shrunk back into the closet, terrified. The air seemed to be getting colder. Kane still stayed with her eye pressed up against the crack of the closet quietly. I could hear footsteps and thumping. "Where are you?" The footsteps changed and stopped in front of the closet. "Are you in here?" Then I heard the most chilling words of all. "Found you." Kane screamed and fell back on the ground. The kitchen knife we had used to stab the doll was protruding from her eye. The eye she had used to peek through the crack of the closet door. She had swallowed her water by accident, she told me. Luckily, as terrified as I was, I managed to keep the salt water in my mouth, clutching the stupid cup as well. I waited until the static returned to normal on the television screen. Kane was sobbing quietly, the knife still in her eyes, but she whimpered, You need to end the ritual." I did what she told me to do. I wandered around the house looking for the stupid doll. It was no longer in the bathroom. I found it sitting upright on Kane's bed, grinning. I dumped the salt water and spat the salt water on it. Then I shouted, I win, I win, I win," loudly. Then I grasped the doll firmly and I went into the neighbor's trash can and put it in a bath of gasoline before torching it. It was now 5 a.m. I came back into the closet and told Kane it was over, so she came out of the closet. Knife still embedded in her eye, and we called an ambulance. So just keep in mind that they didn't let it dry, which was part of the instructions. So I don't know if that had anything to do with, you know, what happens. After surgery, it was determined she would be blind in that one eye. Unfortunately, Kane lied and said she tripped on the knife after getting up early to make breakfast. The scary thing is, even though I ended the ritual and burnt the doll like Kane told me, I don't think it's ended. Kane can still see Irina, walking around the house when only that eye is open. I keep seeing things out of the corner of my eye as well. I don't know what to do. We thought we did the ritual right, but maybe it's still going on. Some weird stuff has been happening lately. Footsteps outside of my door at 3 in the morning, TV changing channels, and sound warping. I keep incense burning and salt in my room to keep me safe, as does Kane. But if someone comes up to you and asks if you want to play Hattori Kakurenbo, save yourself the hassle and just don't do it. Looking up the real directions now, we did a lot of wrong stuff. Putting blood is wrong. It can curse you. We were supposed to put in fingernail clippings instead. Kane and I are going to a shrine in a couple days for help this Sunday. And if anyone has any advice as to what to do in case of a haunting, let me know. It's also said that the spirit will try to hurt you with the same weapon that you use. So, to sever the thread. Like I said, I don't recommend ever trying this. There are a lot of, if you want to be spooked and do a spooky paranormal game, there's a ton out there that is not as invasive, not as life-threatening. This is probably the worst one that I've come across. I know, the Midnight Man, that one's not great, but there's just something about this one that, I don't know. It almost seems more like you're literally taking part of you to summon this thing. I'm curious if it's always the same spirit that does this, because I'm sure that it's not a super common thing to do. I mean, I'm sure it happens. I'm sure people play it, but I don't think that there's somebody playing it at every single moment of the day. So I'm curious if it's always the same entity or if it's a different entity or just a group of entities. Like I said, do not play. I mean, if you want to play, I can't stop you, but I don't recommend doing this. There's just so many things in it that just scream bad idea. Anyways, if you have a paranormal encounter that you would love to share with me, I would love to read it. So you can email me at brittanybriereghost@gmail.com. Make sure to include whether or not you would like your story shared. If you are comfortable with that, maybe you'll end up in a video. If you are not comfortable with that, I will 100% respect it. Make sure to like the video, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. I love you. Bye.